minimum, you would want your quarterback, your center, and probably your tailback working together. And I'll have Roger show that in a minute on how to take a handoff, quarterback opening. But there's still some kids that aren't included in there. There are the kids that are maybe the linebacker, the fullback, wide receivers. If I had wide receivers and DBs, I would work them together during that same period. So now I would have the DB coach, maybe the wide receiver coach, if it's the same guy, and they're going to go over and they're going to go one-on-one. So now I'm going to teach, as Roger said, what he calls a stock block, which is a block that opens space. And we would start with them blocking me holding the blue bag. I don't have a blue bag out here. They're handing them all out. But I'm going to teach him that now I've got to block you in space. So I'm going to get up to you here. Now I'm going to get into the position pistols here, and I want to get my hands and I want to get contact. Out in open space, I'm not trying to move you. It's almost like a basketball play. I'm trying to get contact with you. Go ahead and get rid of that. I want to be in this position, and I want to maintain contact. So we would run a drill, one-on-one. We would have space, set, go. You're going to go this way, and I'm going to try to catch up and get in position to make a block using the principle. Go left, right, rotate. Run everybody through as many times as you can. You'll see all kinds in that book I gave you. There's a ton of drills for DBs and running backs. A lot of times I spent my time with the fullback and the middle linebacker when I wasn't with the D line, because they're coming in making contact. We, as we talked about, learned to cut off the hip. We spent a lot of time working with the tailback, reading that block. Contrary to what John did, we never asked our linemen to move anybody. We asked them to make contact, keep their feet alive, and let the running back, who again should be your best athlete, make the play. And he learns to read the hole. When he sees the hole, he accelerates through. So, Roger, go ahead. You can take it from here.
Why don't you stop right there? Well, I need you two guys. So let's say you're setting up a stop block. Let's just do that again like you're getting that squared away. Okay. I'm going to turn you here. Okay. So you now have this. So you can layer your coaching. He's here. I need the center. Why don't I grab you? Why don't you come here? Why don't you get to be quarterback? You said this is what you always wanted to do. This is your big time. Okay. So now I put a couple guys in. Give me a back. I need a running back. Which old lineman always wanted to be a running back?
There you go.
Okay. So the very first concept that we do is a clock. We start at 12, 1, 2, 3, through 6, through 9. So the very first thing we're looking at is that this play is going to this side. This quarterback needs to open. We had him open to 7 o'clock. Does that make sense? So the clock just makes it very easy for you to consistently talk to your quarterback how to go. The second part of that, and again, we're videotaping this. We're going to start layering drills on so you can look on the web page. So just bear with us a little bit on that. The second thing that you're going to run into is you have a center who may have hands and can't snap the ball. The odds are pretty good, so that'll be your big issue. But the bigger issue will be your quarterback, okay? Now, if you'll notice, his hands are apart. I guarantee you're going to see that ball on the ground constantly. So Cutter jumped my case once, and basically at this age, what you want to do is you want to put the hand here and a thumb behind the other thumb. That means they now have a bracing when that ball comes back, okay? Hand under the right bun, and you have this here. You can then flare this hand out, okay? It just gives you more of a pocket to get the ball when they snap it. Does that make sense? So you just try it, but that will really save you a lot of pain and anguish. The other thing is you'll see a lot of quarterbacks in the West Coast with their feet square, and there's all sorts of reasons for doing that. The list goes on and on. Again, Cutter, and then later Peterson talked me into doing a staggered stance. Right foot forward, left foot back a little bit, okay? What that means is it's very easy then when you want to open to 7 o'clock. The other thing that's very easy is that if you're already away from the center, it's amazing then when you do this, how these guys don't step on your quarterback's feet. If you're in the West Coast and you're up underneath him, all sorts of wonderful things. That's a nuance you can play with, but I like a staggered stance. I like it under the right bun, and I like my hand flared. So we spent hours and hours as this guy's coming in, elbow up, he's looking at the line, collapsing on the ball, okay? So now you've got him, so you can run a play. Let's just go ahead.
No
and do it.
linemen. The linemen are overdoing. Remember what we talked about what linemen were doing during this part?
So 22 cut. I think Brandon calls it ISO at BK. Set
Back,
hut.
defensive back.
Flip inside, ball
I'm gonna
side
come up,
elbow
you're gonna
up.
read the run.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Flip.
try to get here.
Now,
No.
you need to read.
You read my block now. There's no
Okay.
linemen. Now where's my hip? There you go.
Okay.
So
All right.
there's nothing obscuring the running back's view. So he gets a chance to take the handoff with his head up. Nobody's going to hit him, right? And as I'm out here, I'm working on my stock block. I'm taking on this defensive back, and I end up in this position. He can clearly see where he's going to go, right? It's a learn, but now he gets to see it. It's in his head. Not all this other clutter in front of him. Run it both ways. Now, as a wide receiver, if I can get into this position, I'm working on my technique. If I'm coaching these two, I'm praising this guy for being here. I'm yelling at this guy for getting blocked. That's what coaches do, right? We're always unhappy about something. The point, gentlemen, is this is a group activity.
Our best blocker in 4 years was half the size of anybody else on the team. It was Ryan Carson, okay? And he just got this. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be a wide out. I'm a lot wider out now than I was back at Oregon State, but the idea of being able to block, and he'd come out and lock up with this guy, and he would just move him wherever he wanted, and we had back after back after back going for huge gains. So this is another great example of principles being able to use across the board with all of your players.
If you're looking at your schedule, we take a water break, then we would come. I would set the defense off. We would bring the offense over and bring the line, and we don't need to do it now. And we'd have the whole offense with no defense in front, and we would run the play. The coaches, the offensive coaches, again now would get a watch. And they would see, everybody knows where they're going, where the back was going. We may put the dummies in, okay? Then we take another water break. What's the defensive guys doing while that's going on? We're going to be running a tackle drill, an angle of pursuit drill. We have a really good angle of pursuit drill that I love. Water break. Now we go live.